Hello? Is this thing on? Hello, students, and welcome back to this week's episode of Anatomy Models. I'm your host, Madison Williams. Let's get started. All right, so today we're going to be going over our eye model. So first we're going to start with the outside. So we've got all of these muscles going around the eye. So we want to know what those are, of course, and we want to know how to determine, whether they might be a left or right, things like that. So let's take a look at it. So let's start with the ones that we see kind of on the top and the bottom and these sides right here. So these are going to be our rectus muscles, and so we're going to have 4 of those per eye. So this right here, this is going to be our superior rectus muscle. This would be our inferior rectus muscle. And then one of these is going to be our medial rectus, and one of these is going to be our lateral, okay? But we have to just see if this is going to be a left or a right eye first before we can tell that. So to look at that, we have to look at our oblique muscles. So we have this is where our superior oblique muscle would be, and then this is where our inferior oblique muscle would be, all right? So our superior oblique muscle is always going to be on the medial side of the eye, okay? And we'll look more at that in lecture. And then our inferior oblique will always be on the lateral side, okay? So we have to look at those to kind of orient ourselves. So once we find that out, we know that this is our medial rectus and this is our lateral rectus, okay? So medial rectus, lateral rectus, superior oblique, inferior oblique, inferior rectus, superior rectus. Okay, so now that we've got those muscles down, let's take a look at the inside of the eye, okay? So I'm going to kind of pull this top structure off, all right? So we've got all of these little parts kind of here on the inside. So let's start with the outside and work our way in. So right here we have this structure, this transparent structure. Let me kind of pull it out for you. So this is going to be our cornea. So this cornea, it's going to sit over our eye and serve as a way of protection for our eye. It's going to sit over the eye. Then deep to that, we're going to have our iris. Okay, so our iris is going to be this colored part of the eye, and then this little space right in here is going to be our pupil. So our pupil is going to either dilate or constrict to either let more or less light in based on the environment and what kind of light we see in the environment. All right, then just deep to that, I'm going to pull those out, we have our lens, which is really what's going to help us to see that light. Okay, and then this big structure back here, this would be in the posterior cavity of the body. And this would be our vitreous humor or vitreous body. You can say either one of those, okay? All right, so let's look at some of these kind of these other structures. So we have these 3 different layers of tissue in the eye. And so this outermost white layer is going to be our sclera. This kind of red layer that we see right in here is going to be the choroid, and this orange looking layer all on the inside is going to be the neural layer or the retina. Okay, so we have this it's this yellow dot right here. That's going to be our fovea centralis, okay? And what's important about the fovea centralis is that it has the highest amount of photoreceptors in the eye. So they're very concentrated right here. And our photoreceptors are cones and rods, and they're what help us to see light, okay? So someone who was colorblind, they might have some issues with their photoreceptors. Okay, and so then we see the optic nerve is coming back here, and then we see this vasculature going in right here. So this spot right here where this optic nerve is kind of beginning and these vessels are going in, that's going to be our optic disc or our blind spot. All right, and so here there are no photoreceptor cells, and so no light or anything can be seen right here. Okay, so that's our blind spot. All right, and that is it for our eye model. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. I'll be posting a picture of all of these different structures and parts of the eye model, so you'll definitely want to check that out. See you guys.